Hey guys, welcome to the Judo Way of Life. My name is David. This is Pepper. Hope you're all well. Hope you're throwing hard, hope you're training hard. Just getting some videos edited. We're chilling at home. Yeah, so I put a video up yesterday on Instagram. So if you're not following the Judo Way of Life on Instagram, you should be doing. Go over there and check it out. So I just threw together a video, just my top 5 favourite throws in no particular order. And then today I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a full video on this, and so go through why I picked the throws that I did for my top 5. So first up is Harai Goshi. This throw I came to after a couple of years of picking up Uchimata. I really wanted to get Uchimata right, as I'm sure a lot of people do when they get into judo. You know, they see the judo legends throwing with it. Obviously Koshi Inui and now Ono, Moriyama. Plus many more, and this is something I really struggled with when I was younger, and looking back on my time, I think a lot of this was due to because I'm right-handed but I'm left-footed, so I do judo to the left, meaning my lapel grip is quite weak. Now this is something I figured out later in my judo journey, and not when I was 13. All I knew back then was I try Uchimata and I keep getting countered because it is piss weak. And then that's when I started to explore Harai Goshi and adopted the throw the leg across and hope for the best mentality, which seemed to work quite nicely, especially with Harai Goshi. And I really enjoy doing this throw from the kazushi, where you're pulling your opponent towards you, so when you're stepping backwards, and I think it just generates a lot of nice momentum. Obviously not impossible to counter, but I do think it's harder to counter this variation. At worst, I think you just sort of land on your face in the mat if you really commit to it, and at best you're getting that ippon, where if you're turning in and your balls up the timing, you're leaving yourself open, I think, to counters or args, Tani Otoshis, these kinds of things. So yep, there you go, there's Harai Goshi. Next up, Osoto Gari. I probably had most competitive success with this throw or variations of Osoto Gari. Again, it falls quite nicely into the stick your leg across and hope for the best mentality. And seeing as though I got some rather lovely long legs, I feel as though I might as well put them to good use. I feel as though Osoto is a beast of a throw. It's horrible to get thrown whether you are just sort of going backwards, your head and shoulders are going into the ground first. So it's not a nice throw. I don't understand why Osoto Gari is quite often used as the first throw someone is taught for beginners. Anyway, we don't need to get into that. We'll go on a tangent if we're not careful. Maybe we'll save that for a different video. But yeah, love beast of a throw, especially from the top grip. I also feel as though when you have an understanding of the principles for Osoto Gari, I feel as though it's a very diverse throw with a lot of different gripping and situational variations, which makes it an incredibly useful throw to have in your arsenal of techniques. I suppose you could say this for a lot of throws, but this is my top 5 list, not yours. So that's why Osoto Gari is up there for me, and obviously I have that bias. Next, we're back to the Koshi Waza and Koshi Guruma, which is a huge throw. Great to throw with, horrible to be thrown with. So when I'm doing Koshi Guruma, I like to do a variation where I've got my one hand on the lapel rather than the sleeve, and obviously the other arm comes around the head. I feel as though this lapel grip gives a much tighter seal around my opponent's head when I'm throwing. A lot less wiggle room for my opponent to try and posture and defend. I also really like the send it nature of this throw. If there's any hesitation when you're coming in, you're just gonna get blocked and you're gonna end up landing yourself a one-way ticket to oblivion in the form of an Urinal counter. So you've really got to grip, move and go, especially as you're letting go with one arm as well. So you're losing that slight element of control briefly. You've really got to be confident when you throw with this. And you got to throw with confidence, not just merely be confident in throwing. You got to have that initial confidence to let go and send it. But then because of the full committed nature of this throw from beginning to end, you have to throw with confidence right through to the very end, where you're rolling over your partner's head, your opponent's head, for the finish. Now, next one. If I was really going to pick a favourite technique, like an absolute favourite, then it would probably be this one, Okuri-Ashi-Harai. I feel as though it's a very pure expression of judo, in my opinion, in regards to the timing, maximum efficiency. This throw has it all. You barely got any physical contact. Obviously, you got your grips, and then a tiny amount of leg contact on the foot, so of the ankle, the side of the ankle. But when done with the correct timing, it's almost feels effortless, and you're able to lift your opponent up to head height sometimes, and it just feels amazing to throw with. Getting thrown with again, not a nice feeling. And you sort of wonder, like, what the hell just happened? If you've ever been thrown with a good Okuri-Ashi-Harai in Randori or in a competition, you end up on you 1 minute you're just moving to the side, next minute you're on your back, and you're just like, how the hell did I get here? It's a beautiful throw, and it's one I enjoy using personally in Randori and competitions, but it's also one that I thoroughly enjoy coaching, and it's one. So I get my young 5-year-old honey badgers learning this right through to seniors, because again, the lessons learned from the timing of getting this throw right, because it's very much a yes or no. You can either throw with it or you're kicking your partner. So it gives you that good feedback and teaches, like I say, a lot about timing, a lot about using less power and strength. Okay, last but not least is the deviation away from the Koshi Waza, Ashi Waza categories as we dip our toe into the murky waters of Satemi Waza with Tani Otoshi. I've spoken out in favour of Tani Otoshi quite often on this channel, as I feel as though it is unfairly demonised as a dangerous throw, and I have postulated that it is in fact the person doing that throw incorrectly that is dangerous and not the throw itself, and I do stand by this. Tani Otoshi is a beautiful and safe throw that I have a lot of success with, so obviously I am biased, but I just feel as though, you know, when anyone talks about knee injuries from Tani Otoshi, that it actually isn't Tani Otoshi that's being done. Tani Otoshi done correctly, you come around the back nice and smoothly, and the person, your opponent, just goes over your leg. Knees should bend normally, and then if there's any pressure put on the knee, you're not doing Tani Otoshi, you're doing a completely different technique. That's wrong. Okay, so don't need to go into that. I'm going to get triggered if we're not careful. Now, especially like this style of Tani Otoshi when combined with the hip switch, twitch, feint kind of entry, obviously depending where you come from there, which name you use for it, where you come in for, or you pretend you're coming in for an old goshi or like kind of hip technique. As your opponent reacts, you slip around the back for the Tani Otoshi. Now, another example of maximum efficiency in judo, getting a bit of the action reaction, where you're making your opponent do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of the movement and the kazushi for this throw. And when you just slide down the back, bring your partner straight backwards, like I said, no pressure on the knees, but just a really nice throw. And again, just another horrible throw to be thrown with, and a good lesson for people not to overly defend. And this is the fine line when you're working techniques. You've got to defend, or you might get thrown. If your opponent comes through and does an ogoshi on you and you haven't defended, then you're going to look or feel like a bit of a muppet. But if you defend too hard and then they come around the back, and again, that defense is going to get used against you. So learning to be unreactive, maybe not the right word, but obviously trying to apply the right reaction to the situation is very important. So there you have it, my top 5. Now I feel as though it's worth giving an honourable mention to these next throws. They didn't make it to my top 5 list, but throws I definitely enjoy using, whether I'm in my own training or whilst I am coaching. So there you have it, guys. My top 5 favourite throws in no particular order, plus a few honourable mentions of throws there that I thoroughly enjoy using, but didn't want to put in my top 5. Then Pepe's getting bored of me talking, as I'm sure you guys all are, so I'll leave it there. What I would like to know though, let me know what your 5 favourite throws are in the comments below, and obviously if you can be bothered, if you can be asked, write in a bit of a description as to why they're your favourite throws. I was interested to hear, there's so many different techniques and variations out there, and with everyone being different shapes and sizes, we're all going to have our bias towards particular throws. Thank you for watching, and until next time, see you later. Bye bye.